Welcome to episode 3 of the Ant Antics Podcast, the place where tiny worlds meet big ideas. I'm Richard, joined as always by Sam and Sadie, and this week's episode is all about the growth of the hobby, our community, and the mission behind Ant Antics.
To highways wide, there's a whole world waiting just outside. Welcome to the Ant Antics Podcast, where tiny worlds and big ideas collide. Ants are crawling, stories calling. Join the fun, come take a look inside. Welcome to the Ant Antics Podcast. Come explore what's hidden in plain sight. Grab a cup of tune in and bi-weekly and step into the ant life.
We're going to dive deep into the launch of the Ant Antics Foundation, talk about how ANTCON is officially part of that mission, share some exciting new species updates for our arrivals in preparation for ANTCON, and spend some time answering some brilliant voice questions from the community. Plus, we've got a new shoutout segment you don't want to miss, an invitation for you to be part of the podcast in future episodes. So let's get on to it. So, one of the biggest things we've launched this year is the Ant Antics Foundation. This is something we've been working towards for a long time, and we're incredibly proud to finally announce it properly. The Ant Antics Foundation is a community interest company, a CIC, a legally registered not-for-profit entity. Unlike regular businesses, our CIC doesn't exist to generate profits for its owners. Instead, it exists to serve the public for good. And by law, all income must be reinvested into this mission. For us, the mission is simple: education, conservation, and awareness of ants, their habitats, and the importance to ecosystems. So what does the foundation actually do? We provide free ant colonies and education kits to schools across the UK. We deliver talks, shows, and workshops to the public, helping people understand and appreciate ants. With partner researchers like Swansea University, we're actively helping to reintroduce native wood ants to wild areas. And in doing so, we're providing ant keeping support to respected names in conservation like Nick Baker, who are running similar projects. We support media projects, working with production companies like Off the Fence to bring ants to TVs and to the screens in your homes. And looking forward, we plan to purchase and acquire land. We can use this land for habitat protection, allowing us to create our own Ant Antics reserves to conserve ants and the ecosystems they sustain, and run our own educational centres from there. Why this is important? Well, you are already funding this foundation. Every customer, every order, every ticket to ANTCON all contributes to sustaining the foundation. This foundation is funded primarily by Ant Antics. And with every order you make, you are helping build everything we have done so far. So it's quite exciting, team. Co-hosts. We're announcing the foundation today is something that I'm super excited about. What does it mean for our customers, Sam? How can they get involved helping?
So if you've chosen us instead of going to a competitor, you've actually helped fund free colonies for schools, helped with conservation, and made educational events possible.
And I think that's the exciting thing about it, is everybody choosing us is already funding for this stuff. Moving everything into a foundation means we create volunteering opportunities. And Sadie, you're someone that gives a lot of your time for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it will make a massive difference, because we've been doing it already just out of our own pockets and out of our own time. So being able to set up this foundation and get other people on board if they want to help. And it's like little things like where we go to have the scouts in, like being able to go to different projects, being able to send out to more schools. The more we nurture the younger ant keepers, the more they're going to respect ants in the long run. And then the hobby will grow for all of us. And
we're doing it in a not-for-profit way. And I think that's the thing we're giving back to the community here, is that we're funding something. You're volunteering your time, we volunteer our time, and we're doing it in such a way that there's nothing expected in return, and that's what the ant keeping hobby is about to us. having said that, moving along, that means that one major aspect of ANTCON is changing, and that's the ownership of ANTCON. Historically, we've run ANTCON as an Ant Antics event, and it's still going to be a customer appreciation event, but now it's owned by the foundation, which means all of the ticket sales and the running of the day, as well as a percentage of all of the profits that are made from the event when we sell our ants on the day, all of that goes to the foundation. So the principle of this means the foundation should be running itself using donations as such from ANTCON visitors. Now we're on the topic of ANTCON, Sadie's favourite topic of all. I'm trying to make her laugh, see, because this is the second time we're recording it.
Well, last time it led to you dying and us still doing ANTCON without you. So that's why I'm laughing.
Oh, you did, didn't it?
Yeah. And me trying to work out when was the most convenient time for you to die.
Yes. So in the last recording of this podcast, this is the second time we're recording this now because Sam's audio is diabolical. And
It's always Sam.
it's always Sam.
It wasn't the dual mics, it was me, of course.
It wasn't the fact we were trialing dual mics. But I made a comment that I'd die at the most inconvenient time the week before ANTCON, and they said they'd have the event anyway, and Sam was trying to pre-plan my death with the most convenient time for me to die.
If he pays for the stock first, we're okay, right?
Yeah, we've got keys. We wouldn't let down the customers.
No, especially with the amount of stuff in the building and that's arriving on a daily basis right now. The place is filling up, ready for ANTCON.
The Vivs are overflowing. Today, that's why I'm in today on my day off. I'm going to rejig everything and
try and structure something.
We've got a load of stuff coming in tomorrow. So that's all got to find places to go into.
I know. I cannot wait to be able to sell people some exploding ants, Sam.
It's exciting. It's very exciting. If we can fit them all in, it'd be even better.
And
they're going to be here, but it's just a case of where we're going to put them for now.
We've also got some juicy little numbers for people arriving, haven't we? It's gone silent because Sam is supposed to be saying something. He's supposed to be continuing the conversation, but instead he nods.
It depends what you're hinting at.
Yeah, he doesn't want to say. I've already said too much.
I think he's too terrified to say anything in case he says anything that's meant to be kept a secret for the surprise on ANTCON Day, because today we don't have our notes on what species we're allowed to say. But no one's going to be disappointed.
It's more the fact he says that, but it could mean 4 different things in my brain. And like, what sneaky surprise are we saying today? Is like, is it this surprise or a surprise?
I've already said we're selling exploding ants.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I think, and we're the only people to ever sold them in the UK.
Yeah.
They're here. They've been here for a while.
Yeah.
We've got brood in all stages. I think that is the exciting treat for the day.
And there's other stuff we'll leave a surprise. Everyone loves a surprise when they turn up, right?
I think the biggest surprises happen the week of ANTCON when I'm trying to build the place and everyone's bringing the chairs down, the stuff's coming from the attic, the tent's going up, and then I decide to change something.
We're not doing that this year.
Yeah, we are.
No, we need...
We've got to. I've got to touch up the paint, and
Yeah, I can get the apprentices to do that.
this is our building now.
Yeah, just the outside they can do.
But just the outside, the most important part of the building.
Yeah, I'll stand guard.
Okay. Can you lay sheets? Sheets?
One sheet.
one sheet is plenty.
Yeah.
They can do the weeding. They can get the weeds up. And of course, hopefully we'll have some volunteers on the run-up as well. I know people like PJ, Anti-Matters. They're always here and they're helping and they really get their teeth into it, don't they, and helping us set up. And without the help of people like them, it would be even harder to do it. I mean, how many hours do we spend in that attic, Sam? Lifting up all of the escape room puzzles, bringing down the chairs.
Surprised I haven't fallen down those stairs or something at this point. The amount of times we go up and
You're
down.
not even on the stairs, lad. You're off the stairs. You're balancing off some.
Oh, we're going
15-foot drop.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Fine, in that case, yeah, there are those stairs. You have to climb up those things.
Sam the spider monkey.
Health and safety's going to have a field day, but
No, they don't need to know what happens in the attic. There's no cameras up there.
remind me not to go up with you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound dodgy at all.
That's what I was just thinking. I was thinking, you annoy him sometimes. Like, don't let him walk behind you. He'll just give you a little nudge.
It'll be like, oh, he fell down.
I couldn't. And this is the scary thing, right? The business is at the point now, especially now, we've got Ant Antics, the retail, we've got the foundation. we're at a point now where without either of you, we cannot run.
So what he's saying is
I cannot harm you.
he can't harm us because we're useful. The moment we're not
irreplaceable.
Essential.
Yeah.
The moment we're not, there's a problem.
Do you notice only one of us can take a holiday for like 3 weeks at a time?
Shots fired.
Excuse me. Take a look at the wall planner. There's no 3-week holidays this year.
There's no 3-week holidays this year.
Someone sold their dreams to keep the business alive.
I remember last
This is true.
homecoming, someone all of a sudden just wasn't here. They just went on holiday, and it was just me and Sam done it all by ourselves.
Oh, this is personal beef between
This
these two.
has got nothing to do with ANTCON.
No, nothing to do
I
with
think she's just
Antcon.
venting her anger out now.
Yeah,
The fact
for
she,
homecoming.
She's talking about the homecoming event that was her idea that she said she'd run, yeah?
I'm staying out of this.
Run. Still expect other people to be here. It was lovely.
You did an
missed-
exceptional job.
Yeah, you missed the event of the winter. It was
I enjoyed the homecoming.
We're
I
going
love
to do
it.
homecomings this year.
yeah.
I think so.
We'll do
Every
one-
8 weeks?
No,
Okay.
it's too much. Every 8 weeks.
3?
Every 3 weeks.
No. So
please.
3 homecomings. So we have ANTCON in the first quarter.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
think we do an end of summer
Okay.
and then one winter one, which will be like the one we usually do, the hibernation type.
Oh, we can squeeze one more in, can we? Make it 3?
It would have to be early next year, but then we start January getting ready for ANTCON. It's up to you. I'm happy to do it. I love it.
It's because before ANTCON's a bit of a pain to do purely because we're, as you said, we've started prepping.
Let's do one in July.
Yeah.
One in August. One in September.
No.
No, one in October. Or one in September, one in
To be
November.
announced.
To be announced.
We'll discuss this in private.
But I think on that
We love
topic-
the homecomings though, because it's
Yeah.
small, it's intimate. It doesn't take a lot of work prepping anything from the escape room side because that stays open and running, and it's a chance for us to spend the day with our customers and really get to know them. ANTCON isn't the time for that.
they're a lot more personable. So I think I said this before we retook it, but it was a case of we'd love to spend 10, 15 minutes with each customer. The reality is ANTCON, we're so busy we can't always do that. The homecoming is an opportunity and a chance for people to come in and talk to us more for a while, sit down. It ranges between 20 to 30 people, something like that. And it's a lot more intimate and you can connect a lot more with the customers.
And it makes Sadie happy.
It does, because you get like the little groups that
Yeah.
come together, and you'll get families, and you'll see like all the parents sort of gather together. And at first they're never had an interest in ants, and then they come here and they see what their kids are raving about all the time, and then they're like, oh, I get it. And you see like some of the mums, and she was like, I can't believe this place exists. And they were like, he's been begging me to come here. And I think, well, we'll see you at ANTCON then. And they're like, definitely. And then you see like
And then
how
Sadie's,
they haven't even got home, and you see that they've bought a ticket for
Yeah.
ANTCON, and that's when it's like special.
and Sadie's like, well, aren't you proud of your kids? Shouldn't you nurture them? Buy them this ant.
She's good at that.
I say this because I don't know anyone that can upsell like Sadie does.
It's not upsetting. I just want people to have the joy that I have of ants.
This is true.
But I don't care if they buy Niagars, Flavors, or the most expensive ant. To me, it makes no difference. I just want them to be interested in it and to be good at it. And to, like with the aftercare they get in, when at homecoming, they can ask 1,000,001 questions.
Yeah.
So they're going home so prepared, and it gives security for the parents that they know that we can explain the escape barrier, we can explain that you can do this easy way of using foods, and that you can freeze your feeders. And then they're like, oh yeah, let them have a colony. And you're like, yeah, well done.
It's a lot easier to talk to people in person, isn't it, as opposed to over text or over email. And you can make that connection, just explain to them this is how simple it can be, as opposed to over like online. Sometimes it could be quite overwhelming, possibly. But in person, it's just easier.
So when we did the invert shows, when Sam absconded,
Which one was that one?
which one
Was that the one?
precisely? Sadie came that day.
The one.
Was this before you were working?
I've done a few before I started working.
Yeah, and she came with Ahan, and
Yeah.
it was me and them two. Was it just us or was PJ there too?
I've done one with you, PJ, and my husband, and then I've done one with just me, you, and my husband, Ahon.
Either way, this was, I was taken aback. I couldn't believe it. She was on the front line all day, on her feet, selling stuff, and every single customer at that show had like so many bowls of snaps. They had barriers. They had all these little extras Sadie was upselling. So it's going to be quite interesting this year because we're taking the upsales queen, and we're going as a foundation to our shows this year. So we're not selling anything. She'll have donations out of people though, won't she?
He says this like I'm the upsell queen, but he introduced me to you lot when I first started working here as the battle axe.
Yes, I did.
And then he's terrorised one of the apprentices that I'm meeting for the first time today, that I'm going to be mean to him.
He was so scared. He was so scared.
What's actually happened is the apprentice come in, and I said to him, oh, you're meeting Sadie today, mind? She's the husbandry manager. And his face was very serious. I was like, she's going to test you on ants. So let's just hope you've learned something. And he's like, what, really? I'm like, I'm sure she's not going to be that bad on the first time she meets you.
And what happened, Sam? She may be nice today. And then Sadie, that hadn't even spoken to Rich, literally comes up the stairs casually, all the rest of it, introduces herself. So what do you know about ants then? This kid's face just dropped.
He's petrified.
I'm in the packing room, absolutely crying.
And then she's making him recite stuff to me about nuptial flights. And she's like, don't make me hurt you.
That was a joke.
He doesn't know.
I didn't put a fist up or anything. I just said it very nicely.
Yeah, it was very nicely.
Yeah, don't let me hurt you. It said so many better.
Welcome to the Ant Antics management team.
You lot make me look so bad.
But going back to the shows, I'm excited to go there without the pressure of selling stuff, without being the retail side. I'm excited to share what we're doing with the foundation and get some donations from people for that. And I think people want to give back, They want to help the environment and they want to help our mission and to be there as a completely separate entity to Ant Antics. I think it's going to be exciting.
I'm excited because we're going as just pure hobbyists, really. Yes,
we're going for a day out to hang out together and spread the word about the foundation.
There's no stress, there's no pressure, and we can chat to people. We can have a look around the shows ourselves. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's just a day out at the end of the day, isn't it?
So we're going to try and do a few this year. Already booked in is
Ants UK.
The Ants UK show.
Is that what it's called?
Is it Ants UK show? I don't know. So Ant Show UK.
I believe it's that.
Where's that being held? That's in August. Northamptonshire. So we're going to go there. We're taking our display colony of Roofer. We're taking the foundation boards, and we're going to go and raise some awareness and hopefully some funds for the not-for-profit.
I think it's been announced now as well. You're going to do a talk down there as well, a little bit.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put you down for it.
Brilliant. And of course, we're going to go to the Ants on a Rock show for the same reason in the beginning of August.
Yeah.
Spread the word about the conservation work. I'm excited to do both. Let's get out there in the community and let's get to these shows head on without any pressure of sales.
Yeah.
We've got a segment here about new speeches around. We've already talked about that. We're not going to go into that in any more detail.
Apart from we've got some nice stuff coming literally within the next few days. And that's it.
Yeah, I think we'll have to save some stuff for the next.
Yeah, because we're going to run out of things to talk about, aren't we?
Yeah, I just want to see. It's easy to say what's coming in before it gets here, but once it gets here and we know it's safe, then it feels safer to announce stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's what worries me, because if it comes in and we're not happy with selling it, then
it won't be for sale.
It'll be pointless letting people know.
Yeah, it's very easy to big yourself up, isn't it? And then come crashing down if you haven't actually got the stuff first. So we'll get it and then we'll...
So I think, yeah, but I also want some of the species coming, you want to save that as a surprise.
Well, this is why I paused earlier, because I was looking at you like, what surprise are you on about here? I'm not reading your mind.
No, yeah,
so
and you want people to come in on the day, because of course the order in which they can hit the store for ant sales is going to be the order in which they're in the queue. So the people that get in the queue first thing in the morning, they've got the first ticket to get to the ants.
So we're going to do the ticket system again?
Yeah, absolutely. The ticket system worked. There was no clogging of the shop. We weren't overwhelmed at any point, and it's a nice way to reward the first people in that queue. So we're going to do that again, but if there's spicy stuff there...
I'm excited to see who's going to be first in the queue, because it just normally goes around the corner of the queue. So I want to know what time the first people get there.
Sadie gets so excited. If you could see the smile on
She's
Sadie's face
shaking
right
now. She's jigging with excitement
I just
right
love
now.
ANTCON.
Yeah.
Like, I always have.
Not that me and Rich don't, but the levels that Sadie loves ANTCON are above.
I know.
Above them.
If ever I'm feeling demoralised, you just look at Sadie and you get your motivation back.
I'm probably the happy one because I don't have to go in the attic. I won't do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, you know you're not going to get pushed down the stairs by Rich, so it's fine.
Nobody's being pushed down those stairs.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm tripping, remember, accidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have a face full of fiberglass, but
That's if you don't die first.
Oh,
that's probably the moment he's planning. That's the convenient time.
ooh, plot twist.
Laying the groundwork, isn't it? That we are not health and safety conscious in the attic.
Yeah, look at him.
Rich took a fall.
Yeah.
I tried to save him.
We've got no risk assessments for the attic. So with the community growing, we're noticing it's the time of the year now where everybody is starting to post again. We're seeing customers come out of the woodwork because hibernation is over, ants are waking up. We've also got a lot of new customers coming in locally, which is always exciting. But I think this makes for a good time. We've started a new little channel on the Discord where we're starting to tag people in where we notice Ant Antics content. And we really want to get out there for our community. If you're making content and we're in it, please tag us. We love seeing our nests. We love seeing our queens out there in the wild, with our customers. And Sadie, I think you've got a list, haven't you, of a few people for videos that have been released that we've been entertained by the last couple of weeks. Of course, the top one there is your video. It was an enjoying watch.
That wasn't on my list. I am so modest.
No, I know.
Left it off.
That's why I'm starting with your video, because it isn't on your own list. Your own show isn't even on your list. But don't worry, we'll give you a shout out. Is that's a
That's
better
more
word?
appropriate.
We've just had to edit a word out of this. We'll give you a shout out. Go on to the Ants England channel and take a look at her new video. It's worth a watch. Who else in the community is there, CD? Let's have a little shout out for them here.
One of my favourite YouTubers, Jake Antimatters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, love his content. You never know what you're going to get with him. But it's he just bought Green Weavers from us, Osafila, and he's built he's adapted an old setup into a custom setup. And it looks really good. And I think he was so surprised. It was lovely seeing how surprised he was with the quality of ants he got. And he was like, all the brood, like the amount of workers he got. And it's like, it means a lot to us lot because we see them come in as fresh queens nearly a year ago.
Yeah.
And like we've grown these colonies for like a good year. And then to be able to send them out looking so amazing. And then seeing they arrive to him so amazing, which is the other thing you worry about. But he's named them the Green Bandits. And
Bandits,
yeah,
brilliant.
They're just awesome.
But this is why we're doing the segment on the Discord for people's YouTube videos, because we spend so much time here raising the colonies to then actually see the reaction and the progress of these colonies. We don't see it half as much as we do when we send queens out. So it's so nice to see how personal colonies are progressing, unboxing videos and everything in between.
Absolutely. Who else have we got?
Oh, one more thing about Jake. Jake has got an awesome Pogo Mermex colony off us, and he's just doing so much better than mine. It's frustrating, and he's using what's the nest called that we sell, where it's got the inserts, the Welsh name of it.
Boith in back.
Yeah.
The little rectangle
Yeah,
ones.
I was definitely not going to say that on the internet. Right?
So I think they went from the little nest to the small nest now they're connected, right?
Yeah, and I think he needs another one soon. They're doing so amazingly well.
Wow.
So much so I've started copying him. So
There's no way you're going to go over to a regular nest.
No, but I like giving options. So the pop F, you can pop anything on it.
Yeah.
So I might pop something on it and just see what the ant's like.
Yeah.
Like different
it's a good
species,
way to
different
see.
things.
Have a play around with it.
Yeah. So Why not? When you got the everything, you can pop on whatever you want on a popper. I love it.
And you love it. That is your baby, that product, isn't it?
But I've really enjoyed following his Pogo Mermex. He calls them Fathead Red or something. Red Fat.
Redhead fat or fathead red or
Redhead Fat. Why would it?
no, but you say this,
Fathead Red.
but whenever he has two of the same, he just mixes the words around, and it's.
Yeah, I think he sits there and goes, "What's an original idea?"
No, I think he looks at him and just goes for the most obvious thing. It's fat, it's red, and it's on its head.
Yeah, no, because
He's got a head.
Yeah. My favourite thing he does is the beard. Because he did it in your video, didn't he?
As soon as
8.2 was it out of 10? Or?
Yeah, as soon as I saw that worker emerge and it had a decent beard, I was like, I need to run to Jake. I need to get Jake to witness this. And I was like, what do you think of this? And he gave it a rating and he had good shape and style on the beard. And I was like, result.
He would buy a whole species because of its beard, though.
He has.
Yeah.
Well, he's bought one.
He bought Polyrachus. And I still remember years ago, he was asking me, he said, right, I'm in between these three options, Sam, help me out here. I was like, okay, we're on size, we're on colour, behaviour.
Beard.
I want the biggest beard. I was like, right, okay. I was like, that works, Jake.
Right, PJ.
Yeah, PJ has done a video on his Big Lady Campo. That's what he's named his Festinus.
Yeah.
I'm so good at remembering that one. And he done an unboxing of a Pop F, and you see in his video he moves it straight into the Pop F. Gives it some of our blue sugar snaps, which is my favourite colour. So I noticed that straight away. And he's also got his Campanota Sanctus in a Pop F. And I'm thinking that's going to be his next video because I was speaking to him about it a couple of days ago. And they are doing amazing.
I really want to follow that after the minor situation we've had here with my beautiful Sanctus Queen and Colony. Well, we don't hide things from people, do we? We had an apprentice mess up.
Human error, that was.
Human error. They plugged the tube and put it back on.
That's still human error.
Yeah.
Human mess up of epic proportions. Don't worry, they don't do anything unsupervised now.
We're on about the apprentices now.
Yes.
Not one of us for the
No,
record.
it wasn't one of us. Yeah, we had some assumed knowledge and it ended in catastrophe for one of my lovely queens. So PJ, he's going to be at ANTCON as well. He's got his video out. We've got his ant suit. Nice. Ed's Ants. It's not someone I've been following very much. He
is one of the younger I think everyone's young because I'm old.
Yeah.
But there's a few of the younger lads that are starting to do shorts. Some of them do a few videos, and I really want them to focus on making videos because some of them have had some beautiful colonies off us, and I just think show them off. We'll help promote them. We'll share them on the server. I would give them shout outs on my channel if I like it. Make sure it's good and things like that. But there's Ed's Ants. He's one of his favourite videos of his that he did was ants versus sugar snaps, and he just dossed a load of snaps into his outworld, let his Nicos out, and within minutes it's just gone.
Brilliant.
And there's that ant guy. He's only a small channel. And he's got Nicos, Messers, and Campanotus Barbatus, I think.
That's Neil, right?
I don't remember their real name.
I think that's Neil, yeah.
I can't remember their thing. It took me... I didn't know Jake's name for 2 years.
You just go by the handles, don't you?
Yeah, it was only because of ANTCON.
This
and
is
I started meeting
Neil
people.
C, is it? In the Discord?
Yes.
Brilliant.
There's Alan Plays. And he's got a beautiful Noda colony off us.
Yeah.
Massive. How you got all them ants in a test tube. Everyone's always surprised by it. But I watched the unboxing of that and even I was like, well done, Sam. That was impressive. And I see you every day doing it. But that one definitely
Did I just get some praise live on a podcast?
I'm always nice to you. It's him.
This is a good point. I'm looking at the wrong person right now, aren't I?
It's affectionate criticism. I do it because I want you to be the best you could possibly be, but I do appreciate you.
Do I say thanks to that?
Don't hurt me.
Thanks, Rich.
There's Ant Perspective as well, who's another good one that I've been watching. But we really do want to encourage all these younger keepers as well to start making more content. Let us know. We'll support you. We'll even try and give you discount codes and things like that so that you can... It's cheaper for you to buy from us and you can share it with your viewers and things like that.
And people are on the hunt for them because all our discount codes are one-time use that we give out to people. They're really on the hunt for these discount codes. So it does help creators to have one. Yeah,
it's one-time use per customer. So when they share it, because PJ got confused by this, so when they share a code, everyone can use that code once.
Yes.
It's not one person can use it and then it's void.
Oh, right.
When they said, oh, you can use it one time, but I've shared it loads of times.
No. Each customer gets one use of it.
Yeah.
So they find your channel, they find the discount code, they get to use it, and then they carry on paying full price. But we're happy to issue codes out to new and upcoming channels. And these people really do need to tag us as well. If they're creating Instagram content, tag us in on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever they're making the content, and then we can repost it.
And we can see where your codes are getting used. And like, if you're sending if a load of people are using your code, we want to support your channel more. And then like, if we're testing something, we'd be able to send it out to the people who are getting the most use of our codes and things, because then it's more people seeing it, more opinions and things like that. And
the people who plug the brand the most get the most uses of the code. And we like to help people like that.
Well, whilst we're on the topic of content, this brings me on to my next point of, it doesn't matter if you haven't got a YouTube channel, but share us on the Instagram. I've seen a lot of Instagram content recently of people's colonies, unboxing videos, everything in between. Same with the TikTok and Discord as well. Are you laughing because I said the TikTok?
The Instagram, the TikTok.
I sound like my granddad. TikTok and Discord as well. So if you've got colonies you want to share the progress of, journals are a great way to do that. I love seeing people's journals as they update them throughout the weeks. Darren is one that we all said last time that we love seeing the updates.
Yes,
his Singularis colony, his honeypot colony.
Yeah,
and we follow along with those.
So for anyone that doesn't know, the journal is in our Discord. You can sign up. You can get a journal where you can. There's no comments in there. It's purely you share progress of your colonies, and people can react with emojis and hearts and things like that. But they're really nice if you're going to post regular content. It's just if you don't use them, I think it's 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something like that, then they get deleted. So just make sure you post regularly in there. We want to start getting people onto the podcast. We want to start getting new, fresh voices in, run some interviews, find out people's stories. These can be other influencers, they can be customers, they can be anyone with a story to share. I know we can get people like Wendy and things on here as well to talk about the foundation work. So if anybody does want to feature on the podcast, or you have something to say, just pop it in an email to podcast@antantics.wales, and we can take a look and we can look at scheduling in and getting something done. I know we want to get Jake on in the coming weeks. We want to get PJ on.
I think we need to get Antscapes on before ANTCON.
We do.
Coming back to antkeeping. Let's get him on the channel and see if I'll pester him later. Let's
reach out to him. We need to get him on because he's got loads of stuff we can like get excited about too, especially coming to AntCon with the Scape Off and how we're going to do version 4 of the Scape Off. We've got no idea. Didn't we talk in the last recording about what is it Jake's doing?
Yes, we did touch on
We talked about it and we've forgotten to mention it this time. I know we're darting back to AntCon news, but...
That's the hardest thing about re-recording, so I can remember anything's different. Yeah, Jake said, like, obviously he always is one of the best entertainers there is when he gets up on the stage. He's so energetic.
I love him.
Right, so he normally does the bingo, where he's asking everyone questions related to a number and the wheel, and he normally throws out prizes and things like that. But he said he wants to change it up a bit this year, and he said it's going to be more like a game show. And he said he may even wear a suit.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
You said last time that you might try and get him some music, like an intro music, to come on to.
Make him a song, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That we talked about that. Your new favourite thing in the whole
world, an intro song so you can walk out to it. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta get a theme tune for the for his game show.
I reckon we make one for Rich when he's doing his open mic. That's what we touched on.
Oh, we did open mics too.
Star Wars.
Christ, come on now.
The one
I'll
new.
have you know, I've pulled off the greatest event ever.
That's what it used to
I
be.
deserve something upbeat.
That was an
I
extra
thought it was meant to
long.
be your funeral song. He said he's going to die the week before.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were saying Star Wars.
I was just trying to do a scary one. It's because my husband watches Star Wars. That's the only thing that's in my head.
Right. What would Rich's song be if he had a theme tune?
Right, let's not get into theme tunes now. There's
It's
too
a
many ums and
podcast,
ahs where we're trying to
The
think.
podcast theme song, you like that one?
I love the podcast theme
He
song.
can happily skip along onto the stage.
I've put it on my phone just so I can hear it in the car.
Yeah, you'll have to come out and just throw some snaps at people to that song.
Yeah, I'm Ant Antics through and through me. It's in my blood. My blood is 50% snaps. So,
They've got to be able to hear you.
So we've got now some community questions. We're trying to do this now with voice notes to get extra voices in the podcast. And we have a few people sending some questions for us. Unfortunately, Anton, despite his re-recording, is still mousy quiet. Sam's laughing because I said something last time as well.
You
didn't
half
I?
insulted him. I'm like,
I
can you
I didn't
say
mean
that?
to insult anyone.
They're love jabs.
Sadie, love jabs. Sadie, what is Anton's question?
Well, the gist of what Anton said was, hello, my name is Anton. I would just... Why are you both laughing? I told you I was going to do the voice.
You don't have to do it in his voice.
Yeah, but it will sound... You said you wanted different voices on the channel. But, hello, my name is Ant... But please, guys, let's be professional about this. Oh, God. All right, I'll be the only sane one here. Hello.
Let's try recomposing ourselves and try that again. Sadie, what is Anton's question, please?
Anton said, hello. My name is Anton. I was just...
I can't do it. Can you say it normally?
Just stop. Just look away. Just look away.
Okay.
Hello. My name is Anton. I would just like to ask, at last ANTCON, you did the Vachenkois for £5. I was just wondering if there's any going to be... if there's going to be any other deals or good queens available for £5 or something like that.
Right, are we composed? We're back. I can look
Okay.
at Rich again.
In answer
Do you
to your
wanna answer
question, Anton, yes, we are aiming to have some bargain queens on the day. We don't know what they're going to be or the exact pricing yet because we don't know what we have. We're still waiting on things to fly and cost prices and things, wouldn't you say, Sam?
Yeah, I agree.
We got a few ideas for key brackets, something that's going to be an absolute steal for £5 or £10, or even we've got some absolute steals for £50.
Everything's a steal on the day because of the ANTCON discount anyway, but there's always
Yeah,
something nice, a nice little surprise for
We're
someone.
trying to switch it up a bit. So you mentioned Rubida and Fent. Not that
Yes,
we
yeah.
may, but we'd like to switch it up so it's not the same.
Oh no, we're not.
competitive.
Yeah, we won't be doing the same species. I think we need to mix it up and have something new. So each year there's a little surprise, and ANTCON we don't really want it to be the same every year. So we'll try and find something nice that we can do at a bargain price for everyone. The lost leader.
And Anton, I'm sure, would say, thank you for answering my question. I love Anton. He's one of my favourite people. The funny thing about Anton is every time I message him, I call him ANTCON. It auto-corrects to ANTCON.
Oh, does it? That's how
Because I
much you
talk
say
about
the
it
word
so much.
ANTCON.
Yeah, I love his voice.
Right, well, he's got a
I didn't
second.
do it justice.
He's got a second question. If you want to, let's pause
Oh, okay,
this.
here we go.
Go on to the second question, then. So Anton's second question, Anton in the flesh, Mark II, Sadie.
Hello. My name is Anton again. I would just like to ask, is there going to be any raffles as such, or any way we can win some prizes or equipment or queens? Yeah, so that's my question. Thank you.
Outstanding. It was like he was in the room with us.
I felt connected.
And it's not an insult or anything like that. I love Anton. He's one of my favourite people that comes, because he comes to the homecomings and everything. I just like trying to do a little posh voice because I sound so common next to you. I don't even sound posh when I do it, does it?
No. Sadie calls us posh, let's be honest.
Next to me. So will there be any raffles or any way to win anything at ANTCON?
Yes, we will be doing some stuff. Obviously, he's referring to a chat as well in his question, which we briefly touched on the subject that in this particular county and in most counties across the UK, you can't give pets as prizes. But we have little grey areas. There's ways around that, and that is by offering credit and a suggested colony to use that credit against. Really, those laws are focused on things like back when you used to win fish at fairs and things like that. It's certainly not something that dedicated ant keepers who know about ant keeping coming to an ant keeping event would really be affected by. But we've got ways to abide by the law and have some fun at the same time. And of course, we can offer credit for things like the exhibit competition. I'm sure Jake is going to be giving away some credit vouchers as well during his games that we can give him. We'll have the raffle where you pick the species and setup that you want.
The exhibition prizes, people who bring their colonies, there's normally a vote on who can...
So all of these things will have credit rewards, and the credit's valid for a month, so you don't have to spend it on the day, but you'd be silly to leave here with credit in your pocket and not spend it while there's a discount.
I think that's the responsible way of doing it, without giving somebody a species of, no.
Spending your credit while you're here is the responsible way of doing it.
Go back about 10 seconds.
All right.
The responsible way, instead of giving somebody a species they may not have researched or know about.
Yeah, so the information about the species with the raffle, same as every year. We do a setup, we do a species recommendation with that setup, and people are free to buy a ticket for the species that suits them. That way, the common problems what would happen with a raffle if you had 5 things and then in order you win a ticket and you pick what you want, somebody might get left with something they don't understand. So yeah, this way of doing it I think is much better for that. So yes, Anton, you are going to be satisfied.
Good day, crikey, thanks for answering my question. He went to Australia. I didn't tell you.
I gathered that.
And then at the end I think he went a bit Irish, but...
So we've got another question here from Rachel T. Should we play this?
So, my question is, when you guys...
Okay, this is very quiet as well. We'll listen to this
and then
put the
mic by it?
So, my question is, when you guys have personal colonies at home away from the shop, how do you limit yourself? Because obviously, there's so many cool-looking ants, and I'm sure you want to take loads of them home. How do you stop yourself?
Now, that's a good question, because typically we don't.
I think, we don't. This is going to vary between people, though, because I've got an answer, but Sadie's probably going to disagree with my answer on it.
So,
because it's a personal...
For me, this is easy. I keep a colony at home, and the rest I keep in work. And I feel that if we have it on display and I can sit and enjoy it in my own time, I don't need a colony in my house as well. We've pretty much got all of my favourite species out on display, and I can sit and enjoy them in work. I know Sadie has what she wants when she wants, and she will not wait for it.
Yeah. Life's too short.
Because you'll even pay full price for a colony.
Yeah. Well, we had the drama, innit, over I really wanted the Tetra Panera.
Yeah.
And you were like, because the staff, if there's only 5 of something in, the staff are not allowed to buy it. It has to go offered to the concierge first, rightly so. And then you were umming and ahhing about whether to let me have it. And I was thinking, I'm just going to send my husband in to buy it then, innit?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just pay for it, full price, I don't care. I really wanted it. And I thought we was going to argue about that. But if I want something, there's no waiting.
I know there's no fighting you about it. And I knew how serious you were when you were like, right, I'll just buy it as a regular customer. Because if there's less than 5 of something in stock, we don't do staff discount on it, is the point we're making here. It's priority that customers get to enjoy the species. And say he was like, then I'll just pay full price. I don't care.
Yeah, and I went home that night. The day you said I could have it, I didn't take it home with me. I went home, asked my husband, and then I made him drive me all the way back here And I had his like ice box so that I could put it in there so it'd stay nice and warm on the way home.
You were so happy, but that's because we were ordering more in, wasn't it? So,
and they didn't come in, so I was lucky. Buy it when you can because
you were really lucky. Yeah.
That's why I say buy it when you see it because there's no guarantees of when it's going to come in, and I'm so glad I did because if not, I wouldn't have them now.
So do you limit yourself? Obviously, that touches on if you want something, you get it. Do you limit yourself of how much you can have at the house, or are you not at that problem yet? At that point, because I know you've got a lot of colonies.
I was at that point when I lived in Essex, so I moved to a house where I could have an ant room. You just move home and just create more space.
Or have a shed, have a room for it, something like that. Oh
no, they're not going in the shed.
No, like a nice one. People have done. I've seen some people convert things before.
I need to be able to walk in there like hundreds of times a day just to look and make sure they're there. But I didn't know there was an option to not get carried away with ants.
Yeah. I think the more species you have, the more sensible you will become in the fact that they need to be something pretty special for you to add them to your collection. And I think the more ants you have, you're naturally going to have that disposition about you. Like you don't seem to like have common stuff anymore. You're at the point where you wanted that species because they're special. There's something different about them.
But I like having the common species as well. Like, I'm a big fan of natives. I'm a big fan of the European ants. And I get scared by the more exotic-y ones or the more thingy ones. But I feel like you only live once. And I feel like I've done it here. And I know I do things so much more basic at home because I don't have vivs. I don't have like a heated room or anything like that. I do it with heat mats and cables. I do it as cheap as possible so I can afford the best ants. And I just figure out how to make it work. And you can always get more shelves.
Yeah.
But a cheap shelf.
You can stack upwards. Yeah. Sam's different.
The ceiling.
Sam just goes with whatever he can get his hands on at a good price.
Within reason. It's normally expensive.
He's eyeballing them messes in the vivs.
Stop eyeballing the stock.
I do like the messes. I should have picked one up when we got them in. Is the bottom line.
I offered you. I said, I'm ordering these. Do you want me to add one to the order for you? And you're like, nah.
They are pretty. So I go through. This is why I said Sadie would disagree, purely because I've got a few things at home that I'll never get rid of, like maybe 2 or 3 colonies. The rest is that I've gone through so many species, and what I'll do, I'll get them in. I'll learn how to care for them. They'll be at the house for, let's say, maybe 6 months, and then I've brought stuff back before now, and I've gone, right, I've learned how to care for it. I've learned how to care for it. It's a case of I want something new now so I can learn again. That's sort of how I do it. So they are my pets, yes. But
so you just use them to found the colony. They come back into the store,
yeah.
and then you'll take something else to borrow and raise.
Basically, I cycle through things just to.
It's nice.
To make sure.
Yeah, see, I wish I could do that. So sometimes I've bought species here just so that I would be able to advise people on how to do it.
Yeah.
And then. But I can't give them back.
Yeah.
That's the difference between me and Sam.
I'll have bonded with them.
I gave my this is random, but I gave my Scutalaris to Perry because he brought me to ANTCON 2023. And I bought them as my exhibit colony, and I gave them to Perry as a thank you gift.
I remember that colony. Right. It was a lovely colony.
Yeah, he messaged me about 7 months ago and told me they died. So I was like, nearly swore. And then he phoned me yesterday and he was like, you are not going to believe this. There's a queen and like 70 workers in there. So and he ain't touched them for 7 months. They've not had no food, no nothing.
What?
Yeah, and he phoned me yesterday and I was like, are you feeding them now? And then he just turned the camera down and he could see them all around some sugar snaps.
And you would have been so happy with
that. Yeah, we was both like bouncing off the walls.
I bet you were furious he killed them.
No, because stuff happens with everyone. And I think it was when he had because his man cave is in the garden and he said it on his video, I'm not outing him or anything, he had a mice problem. And I think the poison and the mice peeing on the cells, I think that's what finished them off. Don't pull faces at me. He says it in his video.
I remember the mice.
His man cave.
I remember the mice. It is the floor of his man cave was the reason he had mice.
The inside of his house is absolutely immaculate. I just want to point out to everyone the man cave is no reflection of the inside.
Okay, let's move on to our final question. If I remember rightly, we had to pause this one a couple of times so that we can answer it.
Yeah, it's a good question. This.
I have a question for the Ant Antics team in their podcast. As someone who's been in the ant-keeping industry or the ant-keeping community for over 20 years now, watching stores come and go, watching the changes that have taken effect in how ant-keeping has become more accessible to a wider audience. What are your impressions on, and what are your thoughts and feedback on where ant-keeping is going, how it's changed over the years? Do you feel that it is getting better? Do you think that people are being more responsible with keeping ants? Do you feel the atmosphere with keeping ants is improving in the fact that they're not just viewed as insects now, they're actually viewed as living creatures?
So we'll stop it there for a second, just because he's touching on a lot of different aspects here, which I think we need to break down and answer a little bit. The first one is evident that, yes, people are seeing ants as living creatures now. And I think that comes with the legitimacy that people like Ant Antics, we give to the industry. You need people to start treating them like living things so that people start seeing them like living things. And Sadie, you've been in this game a long time. You've been keeping ants a long time. And I remember in the last recording of this, you were talking about how people were sending them before I got mine in a Jiffy envelope, which annoyed me enough to start a company and do it right. Didn't you say they were just in envelopes before?
Yeah, I've had a queen arrive in a test tube in just a paper envelope, and I've had it in one of them that are like bin bag sacks, like just a thin plastic sack. So I remember getting so excited to get a bubble wrap envelope. So that's that was how low the standards.
And that offended me so much. I started a business selling ants.
Yeah, so it's changed so much. Like, and what I like about, because there is a standard now, and it's like the spider world and other inverts have had it for a long time, and I don't think ants get the appreciation they deserve.
I think we even exceed the other inverts now in the way things are raised and shipped. And
yeah, but I don't like how we get a lot of ants coming dodgy and in poor care, whereas spiders and things are more regulated coming in. It's to me, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, but those ants in poor health and that are coming in dodgy is because of the long shipping times that's needed when you're smuggling ants in, right? You'll notice now the stock that we have in our Vivs with a transit time of less than 16 hours, the quality of what's coming in is just beyond. It's just beautiful. So I think the answer there is yes, it is down to standards, and if you're going to invest in the correct way of bringing stuff in, you're going to get better quality for it.
Because I remember on Discord a few times someone has posted a colony, and I've had to say to them, that definitely didn't come from us.
Yeah,
did it?
you know, don't you?
You was gonna like message me and say, how the hell did that go out?
No,
and
I can tell.
Yeah, and I was like, that would never, like, please specify if it's from someone else, especially when it looks like that. Let other people know that
isn't
me.
an Ant Antics colony.
It's a bad day to be Sam if I would have let that go.
There's no way. When I see a colony in bad shape like that, there's
I don't want
no
other
way.
people to
Yeah, that's why I always say, I'm like, just to be clear, this is not our this is not our ant. But what do you think the cause of this change is? So we've gone from standard envelopes to bubble envelopes to neatly presented boxes with birth certificates and things like that. Well, I say we were never doing bubble envelopes and all of that. We started.
The industry as a whole.
The industry as a whole has gone through that. What do you think the driving cause of that is? Because you've been in the hobby longer than all of us. What would you think is the driving cause? Is it businesses like ours that has come along and kicked things into shape, or is it just natural progression? I
think, it could be a bit of both. I don't know. I can't say for sure what it is. But I think because we send stuff out so good, and there is now that expectation, if people, you see it on like Facebook and things like that, if someone gets a colony and it's not great, they'll name and shame. Like straight away, there's no hesitation behind it.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's good, because you should be, if you bought a cake and it comes smashed in, like you'd be disappointed.
Yeah, you would go
this
to
is
town.
a pet. Like this is your pet that you're gonna hopefully have for years and years and years. You want it to have the best start in life. If you're not happy with something, you need to let people know, because then it will up the standards for everyone.
And you've spent good money on this species half the time. You know what I mean? Things aren't always cheap. And a nice species people could be saving a couple of months for. So when they get that, they want it to be as it should be. Which brings me on to what I was saying in the last one, wasn't it? I think the key difference is knowledge. I think that's what's made the industry a lot more transparent and a lot. It's why it's progressed as much, because people now know what their species are meant to look like. They know what healthy colonies are meant to look like.
Yes.
Exotics, non-exotics, everything in between. And the knowledge for what I call everyday hobbyists, I think, has increased an awful amount, which is a good thing because it puts sellers on their toes.
Yeah.
It keeps us on
and
our
rightfully
toes.
so.
100%.
I mean, we're holding on to colonies for weeks, sometimes months, until we're happy that those colonies can leave us.
Yeah.
Which means only the best colonies leave us, and they only hit the site when they're at perfect sale, standard. Historically, what we used to see before we came along, they would get a shipment of ants in another shop, and before those ants had even landed, they had sold them. So they would literally land on their doorstep, they'd repack them and send them back out.
It was the drop shipping of ants, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and that's how it used to happen in the industry. But now, when
It still does with some of the little pop-up shops.
no, I
You
don't
can get
believe
in.
that.
You can 100% jump in on orders, and then wait for it
What?
to come in, and then it gets divvied up.
So what happens then? So you and people are still trading this way, where you're paying them money, it's landing with them, you're getting it shipped straight out. What about stress, time, colony crash? How do you know the queens are healthy, mite free? You don't know any of that. That's such high risk purchasing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You'll get your ants slightly cheaper,
It's not
but
worth it.
the risk is because I don't think we're any more expensive than anyone else for what you're getting.
Not store wise,
No.
and when you take into account the
I think
procedures
even
we
with the
have.
private sellers, I don't think
Really?
we're more expensive for what you're getting, because if you had two cars, one's battered and got its headlight kicked in, they're still the same car. You're gonna pick the one that ain't got a scratch on it.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be different prices, but it's different. You're buying something completely different.
Yeah, you're buying a different product. You're buying a colony that's been raised, loved, cared for, that's in a saleable state.
And I would pick that over the old banger any day.
I mean, even if it was 30% more, you'd pay it, wouldn't you?
And obviously we're not claiming that every private seller has worse quality or anything in between. But
We're
it's
trying to cover our backsides here.
But it's the experience that you're on about as well.
Yeah,
like
it's
the
only-
after support,
We're talking
the-
generalised terms here because
fertility guarantee, everything, because the after experience we provide as a company.
the reality is we do not know what other stores are doing unless we see pictures of it online. But we don't know their practices. We're still in a very shady sort of industry in a way where other sellers keep everything so discreet. You never see pictures of their storerooms or of their species. You only see the little bits they want you to see. And it's not like here where ANTCON happens and people are rooting through our bloody pantry.
Yeah.
There's nothing hidden.
We say that to so many customers. You're literally coming inside of our
You're
house.
coming into the guts of our business, and you're opening our drawers, to see what's about. And I don't think any other shops do that. I mean, there's still like manufacturers out there of nests, and nobody's ever seen their print farm. We're very open about how we do things here, and I think that's the difference in the transparency moving forward. It's making other sellers have to catch up.
Yeah, and I've seen so many friends, like especially on like. Oh, it's horrible because I know we're all friends with some of these people, but I've seen friends lose so much money. Even someone who's a customer of ours, and like they're going to know who they are by what I'm saying, but they lost £400 just before Christmas one year, lost an entire import.
Wow.
And I was like, they've got a young kid, and I just felt so rubbish for them. And I think like that's the risk you take with that. Whereas if you buy from a legitimate shop,
you've got the safeties.
Even if worst case scenario, Royal Mail lost your parcel, or even if like the worst happened, there's so many guarantees with shopping with us.
And people would know this just if they were considering buying something for a few pounds cheaper, get that person to send a picture of the colony.
Yeah.
Because
We touched on this last time,
customers come to us and say, I'm considering buying this, it's going to set me back 60, 80, 100 pounds, whatever. The cost is irrelevant here. If they say they would like a picture or a short video of the colony that they're about to purchase, we will send that to reassure them that this is a nice colony. We even mark it with their names, so when it arrives with them...
Yeah, I was just going to say that because we had a bit of trouble on the ANTCON community group on Facebook, that we had 2 people posting the same colony claiming it was theirs. And in the end, how we sorted it out is we said, right, film it. We're not as correct as professional as this company, but we was like, stick your middle finger up in the video. Because I thought you don't have that on, unless you've done it. And then that's how we had to work out. But the other one was so adamant that it was there. So even when you're buying off someone, make sure you know that is their footage.
You get them to write your name on that tube, ask them for a video or a picture with an identifying mark, and then that way you can compare yourself directly against a store. And 9 times out of 10, I think I would pay the extra.
Well, if you get blocked,
10 times out of 10
if you get
it was
blocked,
us.
you know it's a scammer.
Yeah. So let's listen to the second half of Adam's question here.
Or vice versa, do you think the amount of stores that keep popping up like daisies hinders and damages the industry? Just wanted your thoughts, because like I say, it's changed a vast amount over sort of the 20 years that I've kept ants, and you guys set such high standards and provide such fantastic colonies. What sort of effect do you feel this has on the ant keeping industry and people wanting to get into the industry? So yeah, that's my question, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Adam. It makes perfect sense. It's a good question. And I think it's really important here to touch on the fact that new shops is not a bad thing. We encourage new shops. There's plenty of room in this industry to keep us on our toes. And it's the same with any industry you're in. And not to say we're the Tesco in this scenario, but there's as much call for corner shops as there is for the larger supermarkets. And I even went into a corner shop the other day and it was all Jack's by Tesco in it. So, but that fits perfectly because we had an email off a brand new store that's opening soon, and they're preparing their range of products now, and they've asked if we'd consider supplying them. And the answer is yes. Hands up, open arms. I sent them an email straight back saying we'll happily supply you with a legal, sustainable source of stock. And they were over the moon by that, because we're in an industry where people don't tend to respond to requests for things like that. But our only condition is what, Sam? You have to be a legitimate business.
Yes, that's what I agree to.
Well, I was
You
about
weren't saying nothing,
no.
was it?
He asked me the question. I was about to answer, and then he answered it.
I didn't know if you knew the answer.
Of course, I know the answer.
But yeah, if they are a registered business, if they're going to do things properly and get off on the right footing, then we will supply them without any question. You know,
That's our only condition, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. And in turn, you get to feed off our infrastructure, of Sadie's healthcare, of Sam's packing abilities, and my expert snaps making.
You had to throw in something that he was good at. In there.
Yeah, it's the only thing I'm good at.
It was like dramatic pause. What am I now?
Yeah, what do I do?
Oh, to be fair, you do all the nests, and I see you sand stuff and cut acrylic.
I know Matt designs everything.
Oh, that's what he said. Me and him have talked
Yeah, but
about this so many times.
People don't know this because I cut it out of the podcast.
Oh, okay.
But in the podcast, Matt was here. He sat down and we said, Matt, introduce yourself, because nobody knew what you wanted, that you could. Nobody knew what you did, and he said, "Yeah, my name's Matt, and I design everything."
In his, he was slightly nervous.
He was,
right?
yeah.
He's not a natural
I
when it
cut
comes
that
to
out because he doesn't
cameras
listen.
or-
We all looked at me and Sam were like, yeah, all right.
He was trying to put it into words, and I think the complete wrong thing came out of his mouth, but
Oh,
it was funny
bless
to us
him.
nonetheless.
Bless him. But yeah, he's that was funny. But thank you for your question, Adam. We appreciate that, and if anybody has any questions for the next podcast, episode 4, then make sure you send us a voice note through the Discord. Try and do it nice and loud so we can play it like Adam's then.
Am I right in saying this is a weekly thing? The questions are not weekly, but whenever we do the podcast,
Yeah.
per episode then.
I'm enjoying this segment because you never quite know what people are going to want answers to, and it means we can freestyle a little bit.
On a side note, voice notes are preferred so we can get voices on, but if somebody they don't want to put their voice on the Discord or want it on the podcast, just write it and we can do Sadie do the voices.
No, we forgot to mention Sadie's Agony Ant.
You what?
What?
We forgot to mention the Sadie Agony Ant feature for the podcast, where
I'm
people
lost.
I've never heard about this either.
no,
Is this an idea you thought about last night and you think you've told everybody?
no, we talked about it in the last recording.
Okay.
Yeah, we did, because people can send anonymous questions and Sadie's going to
Okay.
answer them.
We touched on it, I
But we
think.
said people could ask anonymous questions. I don't
Yeah.
think we said Sadie Agony.
Yeah, but it was your idea, so
Yeah.
so it's the Agony Ant section
Yeah,
of the
if you want to
podcast.
send some anonymous questions, you can. If you don't want your name attached to it, or
You don't want other people knowing what you're asking.
yeah, but in some groups, some people get a hard time for asking a question as if like, oh, you're a noob for asking that. Like, there's no stupid questions. Like, we'd help anyone.
We don't get that in our Discord, though.
No, because
Nobody's mean.
Nice. No, it's very nice on our server.
Yeah,
Very
that's-
friendly.
We kick the riffraff out, though, don't we? We don't have them in there.
You let me stay though.
And by riffraff, of course, I mean the troublemakers, the people that dig into other people. We were all new once, and one nice thing about being in this hobby as an experienced keeper is that you can help other people enjoy the hobby the way you do. And it would be horrible if we had a community surrounded us.
We've got no room for it, really. There's no need for it.
And we're all new. When you get a new species and it's new to you and you've not seen anything, you
Yeah.
feel exactly the same. Like wanting to like work everything out.
PTSD from your first Niger colony.
I think about this all the time, right? So at the end of the day, we are a fairly small community, compared to other hobbies. Like, you found people that you actually have got similar interests to you. Why are you picking fights with them?
Yeah, and you're going in on them
It makes no sense to me at all.
for having similar interests.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for listening. That's it for episode 3 of the Ant Antics Podcast. Massive thank you to everyone that sent in questions, made content, and supported the foundation. This community is incredible, and we're very proud to be part of it. So, if you're a new listener, hit follow so that you never miss an episode. There's so much more to come, and until next time, happy ant keeping.
Up in the trees, ants are building mighty colonies. From tiny tunnels to highways wide, there's a whole world waiting just outside. Welcome to the Ant Antics Podcast, where tiny worlds and big ideas collide. Ants are crawling, stories calling. Join the fun, come take a look inside. Welcome to the Ant Antics Podcast. Come explore what's hidden in plain sight. Grab a cuppa, tune in and bi-weekly, and step into the ant life. Talking nests and keeping tips and queens in flight. And keeping gurus help you get it right. Myths busted, debates, and behind the scenes with Richard, Sam, Matt, and Sadie on the team. Bringing our community together, a place to share, a place like no other. Join us for the latest news and ANTCON updates just for you.